No, we're live. You were live. Oh, it was deleted on Facebook. Oh well, you're live. Give us some words of wisdom while we start off, Mike.
I just want everybody out there to know that I'm very happy to be here today. We have a remarkably brilliant, emotionally intelligent professor of incredible life. And John Wallace, is going to teach us so much today. And you'll be as moved as I was this morning in our early morning session on our show. And he is a remarkable gift to our community and a blessing to all the young people that he's teaching how to be involved in music and creating great sound systems and being in their sound design booths and stuff. So we're honored to have him today. My friend Trevor, who was 16 years old when I first met him. And it was pretty remarkable that he's still hanging around trying to make sense of all of my ancient babblings. And so we're honored to be here today. And he's miking up.
Mike.
And Mike. And he and I are going to take a nice run at listening to and learning from the heart of the wisdom of our friend John Wallace from our community. And who is going to teach us some stuff and just watching our crew here set up, just grateful to be live and rolling. And hello to everybody out there in Facebook land. Love you. Hope things are good. Trevor Henley, desire to inspire, which we are in right now. And we've been working together since he was a kid. He is as well a brilliant gift and a friend and somebody that does inspire me the way his studio inspires me. Which comes from inspire comes from the Greek word inspire, breathe in the spirit. We wish all of you out there in Facebook land that listen to us.
So can you say YouTube land, Twitch land, and LinkedIn land as well? Because we streamed about 30 seconds too late, so we're not on Facebook.
Where is it? Grandpa? I don't remember the things he said, but I'm not smart like the other. Twitch. What else? Twitch. What else?
LinkedIn.
LinkedIn. Universe at large. Force is strong.
Oh no. Oh no.
Perfect. So on that note, everybody, welcome to We Are the Remedy. This is a place where we get together, we share stories, we highlight someone from the community, we present a problem, present an issue, present a solution, and then we really get to tell. Well, we don't get to tell. We get to hear about amazing stories. And today we are very fortunate to have John Wallace from STOP. Well, that's the acronym, but it's Surviving the Odds. I don't know why. I can't remember. Surviving the Odds Project. Well, I know why I can't remember because we just met yesterday. But we connected right away. And John, you've got an amazing story, which we are going to hear. And there is everything from hitting bottom to pursuing your passion to a lot of hate and anger to forgiveness.
Yeah.
I mean, we heard a little bit of your story today in our donuts for breakfast this morning, and I don't have words other than I'm really excited to hear you today and talk about this. So, I don't know where to go from there, Mike.
I do. Let John take it away. We're a really relaxed energy set and crew. We learn, and what I teach, I know what Trevor teaches. I know emotional intelligence. You certainly showed that this morning. The great Solomonic wisdom. Can you explain to us? Just give us a little background. Give us what happened to you. You don't need to go into depth, but tell us what happened. But
I'm John Wallace, obviously, founder of Stop, and it's an honor to be here, first off. As a kid, growing up in the South in Louisiana, I was born and raised there. It was just me and I'm one of 11 kids, and we had all from the same mom and dad, and struggle. So, felt proud in ways that I allowed myself to kids to push away from the norm of the world. So I resulted in certain things that I felt like I needed to step outside of myself. I didn't know that I had so many talents. Love, everything that I do today, well adapted to. I didn't have anything I wanted to learn, so I had a sort of
The term for that now, recently is neurodiverse learner, which means that you have things that sometimes that causes anxiety in us, and sometimes get conflicting stuff. So, John, can you just explain to us as you started to grow up, and then you moved here to California, what was the impact on you? What was the impact life shifted? What were the things that got into that caused that caused?
First off, I grew up in a all black neighborhood, right through Baton Rouge, Louisiana, where we moved to California, we're in the city, and that was a struggle because we didn't know anyone here, but dad was here, my grandmother was here, obviously, and my other family members, and my dad's sister, and a couple other family members, and they took care of us when we got here. Yeah, but moving into California was, very much.
That's a big shift.
It was a huge shift.
Yeah.
We had to learn the hard way, man. They held us back in school. So coming from the South, I was held back one grade.
What was the impact to you on that?
Yeah.
More mature.
But I mean, that didn't set me back. The only thing that set me back was my own limitations that I had on myself. I didn't believe that I was good enough to fit in certain groups. Like I was looking for a lot. I was called names. Literally just like the names of the neighborhood that we make up for ourselves. Yeah, sure. Some of that stuff stuck with me. And I was.
What does that do to any kid, not just you?
What does that do to any kid, not just you? What does that do to
Put walls up. We put walls around their heart. Like I had a callous heart for a long time, and no one get in. And when I felt hurt, like hurt people hurt me. So I wanted to figure out how to hurt someone when I was hurt. And it just
Lashed out.
Yeah, lashed out, help the community, and that looked like as if I was. That cell, I felt safe. No one can touch me. Right. So, and it's sad that my mind went there. Right. But
You were getting a reputation.
Yeah.
You were getting a reputation. What was that reputation doing? What was that reputation?
I mean, I had street names like, J Love, and street names like Candyman from being this little drug dealer that I thought I wanted to be. I saw a lot of things on the streets that fascinated me at a young age, and I was like, I want to be like that. And all that stuff on top of it, joining the gang because I didn't feel like I was loved at home when I had all the
So it was like protection.
Yeah.
So it was
Right?
like protection. Right? It was protection. Nobody makes fun of a guy. Nobody makes fun of a guy in a gang or a woman. Because you form up and because maybe carry weapons or or become assaultive to people because you're in fear of not getting protected, you form in order to try and protect. What does that do to a kid? Any kid?
What does that do to a kid? Any kid, not just
It definitely sets them up to fail. I mean, for myself, it put me in a situation where I've been I've put these limitations here. I can do all those things that people are saying.
What do you say to young people now? I know
you're
you're a remarkable teacher now.
You're a
Helping
remarkable
young
teacher.
people express artistically through music
artistically
and spoken word and poetry and stuff that you teach them in order to write lyrics. What do you tell them now? How do you tell them now?
Don't be afraid of stepping out there and taking risks. You never know what can happen. Taking a risk means you have to try something. And when kids come into my program, I do an icebreaker where I ask them to tell me something about themselves that they've never told me. And in that moment,
Can you remember one that stuck with
oh
you?
yeah. There was a kid that he talked about what the murder of his brother did. And he talked about how it did things inside of him that made him want to lash out and become this angry vessel that was going to run up and hurt because no one would listen to him. Yeah. And then there was another kid who wrote a song and it went live on Facebook. And in these lyrics, he talked about being bullied. He talked about what it made him feel like. He talked about what it did to him. And he said something very important. He said, "We just want the world to listen to it
And hear our pain?
And this kid was, I learned from them because, it's just like sitting there. I designed a program that I never knew how impactful it would be to watch another kid open up about whatever they're going through.
Yes.
Because had I had a healthy outlet,
Early.
Without being judged, without being told, without being all the things that crushed my spirit, I probably would have taken it around. But it was, when I landed in state prison and all these things, I said, I wish I could have done this, I wish I could have done that, all the what ifs.
The dream life is the fact that you are now the mentor you needed in childhood. Correct?
When you started the organization, and you just said you would never imagine that you would have this impact. What's the difference when you started?
From it being a dream at first, and I just got up and wrote out the dream, and like literally the word STOP stood out on me on a stop sign, just coming at me like this in the dream, and I was just like, whoa! I woke up and I was like, what does that mean? And I thought God was like, my God was telling me, stop doing what you're doing because you're about to get bad results.
Yeah.
And man, I just kept closing my eyes and going back to sleep, and all of a sudden that stop sign just kept coming and coming at me. But it was and then I closed my eyes the last time the word acronym was right by my face. I slowed down the letters in my dream. I slowed it down. And I was like, that was an acronym. You're looking at a guy who dropped out of high school to become a drug dealer and to become an addict and to try to think that he was just this big influence on the streets. Like I could tell people how to manage their life, right? And that didn't work out too well. It didn't work out too well.
Yeah.
Because once those doors shut behind me in jail and prison, man, it's like, damn, reality check. And
But now it's the lighted path.
Now
it's the lighted path.
yeah. So when I got on my phone and wrote out, I looked up what an acronym was, right? I didn't know what an acronym was. And it told me. And I wrote out 4 acronyms for the word stop. And the first one that stood out to me was struggling through our pain. Wow. Right? That was the very first one that I wrote out. And then I wrote out surviving the odds project. And then I wrote out 2 more. And then I went back to sleep. And then when I woke up, I said, hey, I had a dream about this idea about a nonprofit. And I was like, if you had this idea, what would you do? And what would you, if you had a nonprofit using these acronyms, what would yours be called? She said, for you, that one. And she circled it. It was as if I saw it directly. Right? And I knew right then and there I wanted to build a program, video production, music therapy for marginalized youth. And I ran up and down the hallway. Happy, I started screaming, I just unlocked Pandora's box. It was the funniest thing in the world, though. But I knew in my heart, in that moment, that a shift had happened from a dream. And I was just like, holy crap.
Yeah.
Out of prison from being out of prison.
Out of prison from being out of prison.
Dreams, it comes to you how to unlock that. To unlock the cell, to unlock the dreams is the same. It is to do something good with compassion, to uplift others, right? What did you learn about yourself in that process?
When they say follow your dreams, I'll tell you what. What I learned about myself was that I'm strong. I wasn't those names that people called me. I wasn't that little N-word that they called me all the time that you wouldn't know. What they said. And I learned that I have a heart, I'm intelligent, and I have something to offer. Yes, you do.
And you're doing that right now. What do you think you tell? What can we as a society, as a culture, how do we solutioneer with all of the kids out there on the streets sometimes who struggle with those choices? And what have you learned about yourself internally that we need to do as a culture to help that?
The number one thing we need to do is listen.
Why is that so important? I know you're right.
The youth are trying to tell us something.
In their music and their poetry.
They're trying to tell us something in their behavior. They're trying to tell us something when they're acting out in school. They're trying to tell us something when they're coming home and they can't speak to mom or dad about what they're going through because, first off, I was that father that always wanted to, raise my kids the way I was raised. And sometimes that would come off as if, being raised in the South, parents were taught to spank their kids, right? When I was going to school there, they give you a paddle when you're bad in class. They spank you. The teachers have that okay, and that's how it was. And the norm today, raising a child and given what you were taught as a kid, I had to switch my thinking. I had to shift it, and still, it's been a challenge. So for the kids today, I mean, how we help them is, we have to listen to what the kids want.
Compassion as opposed to control. What have you learned about yourself in that journey? Control. I know it's hard, but it's hard.
This is like it's spiritual. This whole process right here. This whole setup here is spiritual for me because the things I learned about myself was that I had to fight a hard pill when I got into recovery. One of the biggest pills I had to fight down on is there is a God and it's not you. Right? And then another guy said, maybe you should just hold up the sign and quit trying to control the show. Quit trying to run the show. Right? Because there was a thing called ego with me and it was huge. And it still knocks on my heart at times. And then when I was told yesterday by someone in the community where I'm building a music studio, oh, you're just an arrogant young man. Because why? Because I'm passionate. I'm passionate about what I do in the community. I'm passionate about bringing a program to your community, and I know it's worth.
Stop singing. Let me talk to everybody. How we talk. Now here's the joke for you. when we gossip about each other, when we gossip about trash, and we talk it down, I always tell people, young people, especially starting with kindergarten, use your words as shields to defend others and not as swords to hurt or wound. There was a woman who was gossiping about everybody in town. And it was toxic and mean-spirited and rude. And she went for a hike in the desert, and she was bitten by a scorpion. And the scorpion died from her poison. What we're saying to all of us, and me, watch how you talk. Gentle. When people are doing good, making a difference, watch how you speak to them. Gentle. Why is that so important?
So it's important because people don't understand when I go through. Like, it is so hard to get on the battlefield, right? It is so hard, but I do it because I love it and I believe it, right? And it's important to me because at the end of the day, if I can ask myself who can help today, I can smile.
You redeemed yourself, and now you're going to redeem others. And so, if we talk about that for just a second, tell them what happens. From the wounded. Aeschylus said, with every drop of pain on the human heart, wisdom. So what we're asking you to share with them is, what's the scar tissue on the wounded soul from a life inside prison for any young person? What's it like going through that? What's it like in the cell blocks, on the tiers, with the guards, with the other guards? What's that like?
So when I first got off that bus, coming from Marin County Jail, going into St. Quentin State Prison, and I had no idea what my life was about to be like, right? I had watched a lot of movies in the past.
Doesn't cover it, does it?
No, it doesn't cover it. Man.
There's a whole paragraph in that.
You get off that bus, and they tell you to bend over and cough like you're naked. They tell you to open your mouth after. First, they tell you to lift your genitals, right? And then they insult you by making you put your hands in your mouth and make you show them all your teeth. So that's an insult right there. You make me put my hands down here and lift up my genitals and then put them in my mouth. Come on now. So it's totally disrespectful. And then they make you bend over and cough, and you're naked like this. And then all of a sudden they get you dressed and they send you over to another unit and it says no warning shot fired in this unit in red. You see guards walking around with mini 14 rifles.
Here's the other side of that. I'm loving you, telling you this. I worked in corrections. One time when we had a guy, we were showering him out. We had him bend over. A 32 automatic hit the shower. Do you understand? Do you understand? We get scared. And it's not just for your sake. It's our sake. Of everything. I remember one of my co-workers, Big Shirley, when I told us the sheriff's back up here, they bagged the weapon, put it on the thing, and she looked at me and she goes, I go, she goes, tell me not to talk. Tell me not to talk. She goes, so we're scared. There are people that do unscrupulous things. And just so we know, everything that happens sometimes isn't a sign of disrespect at times, but it's a sign of safety for all. So just making that point clear to you, you're a wise man, and what you want to tell them is the impact of this happening. What do you say to the young people out there? Why not to go to that situation? Why not?
Earlier was like seeing families and stuff, and kids go by on berries, holding signs to their families, to their fathers, and like there should not be any day in hell that I want to go back to that misery right now. Being a kid, having to ride on a ferry, holding signs to your family, and for the dads out there that think it's cool being gangs and stuff, doing all this crazy stuff on the streets, it's not worth it. Like, this is why I try to help these kids before they get to that pipeline of prison.
What you do to a community, and what you do to a community, and
It causes, chaos for sure. I mean, if we're not educated on what it's like in prison. I mean, sometimes the movies and stuff, they tell a great story for young kids. They think it's cool, like, oh yeah, I can go to prison, like this is cool, man.
there's nothing like that.
It's nothing like that. It's nothing like that. You're lonely. It feels like a walking graveyard. But once you're there, if you don't have family and friends, ain't nobody gonna see your letters. You know, and even if you have family and friends, my family told me you got your situation, you got yourself in that situation, get yourself out. That's what my father did. You know, and it made great sense to me at the time, but I resented him for that, and it wasn't his fault for telling me that. He cared. You know, there's things that happened to me that I wish I would have reached out to someone else sooner.
Now you become that. Now you become the kids can talk to. You become that person that helps them artistically describe their suffering, their sorrow, their pain. What has that done for you? What has that done for your spirit up? I mean, you're a spiritual guy. I mean,
well, like I say, it's sneaky therapy, right? So I get my therapy by lifting someone else up, doing something for someone else. Like even in recovery, the book teaches us like to do something for someone else, get outside of yourself, go get someone else's stuff. Like go get in someone else's bad day.
Perspective.
Yeah, flip it. So I mean, it's not peachy every day for me. Don't get me wrong. Like I go through things, I feel things, but I'm able to feel things today only because I was, given another chance to get it.
Why is it so important for our culture? Why is it so important for our communities to give young women and men a second chance?
I feel it's important because, I was given that chance. You know,
And you're making the most
I
out
was
of it.
given that chance.
You're making the most out of it.
I talked about it earlier again. Like that judge that sent me to prison, I thanked him. I thanked him for sending me to prison because he saved the lives of many other people, including myself.
Attitude of gratitude. Yeah.
What do you think you would be if you had someone in your life like you now, but as a teenager growing up? If you had someone that provided some mentorship in that capacity?
Man, I've always wanted that. Honestly, I've always wanted it. And I got that a little bit from my pastor. He passed away, Pastor Reverend Small. I used to
Pastor Small.
I used to run up to his church all the time. I used to call him and be like, man, I need to come sing in the choir. I need to sing in the choir. Like I hung on to that church. Like it was just like, and then when he passed away, part of me faded.
He's still with you.
And I looked at him as a second father of mine, and he is still with me. Which is so hard. I know my father took
Amen. They see who you are. What's the most important thing you've learned about gratitude?
Being grateful for every single opportunity. Every single thing that's ever happened to me. Like I look at it, it happened to me for a reason. There's no reason for me to sit here and dwell on the past and say, hey, keep beating myself up. Yesterday, I'm grateful for yesterday. I'm grateful for the last 30 seconds.
Why is forgiveness? Why is forgiveness?
Because it adds strength. Forgiveness for me has come in the hugest form because I was taught don't go to bed when you're having something. And I was taught that.
Why do you think that's true? Why do you think that's true? You're a smart young man.
It leads to
stacks up.
Man, it stacks up. For real. It leads to unresolved anger. It leads to going back out there. People relapse over it. We take things out on our kids. We take things out on the community.
Anger past 30 seconds is ego, and the ego is not real ego. Right. So, what do you say to the folks who say because I want you to talk to them. There are a lot of people out here. You don't trust me. This is some of the manipulation situation. What do you say to those folks out there who are afraid? You know, and I mean, they're afraid. You know, they're like, oh, why are you talking? You know, no. Why is the second chance? Why is the second opportunity so powerful? After the forgiveness, you have forgiven as much as you've been forgiven. Why is it so important?
It's important because, you know, I don't judge a book by its cover today. I don't judge them. I get to know that person. If there was a person that's out there hating on me or whatever, don't understand what I went through to get here, don't understand the hard way it took me. You don't know the meetings I went to get here, the background that I have, struggle. It's free. Like, I am grateful for every single opportunity that knocked on my door that I took advantage of because I did not say no to.
What do you say to the young men in Q right now? Wholesome, back of the wholesome, Quarko. What do you say to them?
Just keep your heads up, man. If you're in prison right now, just look at me. I made it out. I'm an inspiration. I feel in my heart that if I got out of prison and while in prison made these changes to where I didn't have to go back, you can do it too. Like, use your resources. You know, I use my resources. I knocked on every single door that I had the opportunity to knock on, even when I didn't want to knock on it. And I said, I'm uncomfortable out here on the streets. I'm uncomfortable. Like, I don't feel safe on the streets in my own skin. And that came from me being so used to being in the cell. Because I didn't know what society had. I mean, I went in when we had Skypagers. When I got out, everybody had laptops. You know, all this crazy stuff.
Yeah.
So the world changed. Yeah. Yes, it did. I wasn't ready for this.
Right. And even in the past year and a half, it's changed. You know, people being more afraid. Folks, fear is the little dark room where negatives are developed. Why is it important for us to not just wait for light at the end of the tunnel, but become the light going through the tunnel, become the light and glow in the dark?
Why is it? I think it's important, man. For me, it's like in my heart, there was always so much dark, you know, and like you say that light at the end of the tunnel, like, you really run towards it, like good things will happen. Amen. Like if you wait for that to come to you, sometimes it doesn't come at your own pace.
You got to go towards it and bring that glow with you, right?
So if people see my light igniting in me, if I ignite the light within myself, it ignites in others because others see, like, why is he so unhappy today? What's going on with the kid? And like they don't understand, like I am free inside. I am free. That's my artist name, freedom. Like people don't understand why that name came about. It came about because I'm free on the inside. I let go of my demons. They're not holding chains around my wrist anymore.
What do you think this means? This is from Dr. Martin Luther King. If you cannot fly, if you can't run, walk. If you can't walk, crawl. But keep moving forward. Because you've done it.
Take the lashes as they come. Because if you get knocked down, keep taking lashes. Keep taking them and get up.
Why is it important that resilience and that redemptive spirit?
It ignited something in me when you just spoke on it. Dr. Martin Luther King was one of the most powerful, influential men in American history. Like to me, you know, and it's important. I just get emotional about everything that's happened to me.
It's the spirit word.
When you got out of prison, you started knocking on doors and you started asking for help. How did you know you were, like, what was your first experience of knowing that that was the next right thing to do?
It started when I got out and my parole officer at the time said, hey man, I'm gonna put you back in prison if you can't get a job in X amount of time. And I'm like, what? First off, I got felonies on my record. You started me out with the fear of threatening me already. Like you're not starting out with trying to help me. And so right away, I was already at a disadvantage when I got out of prison. And then I flipped that, right? I flipped it on him. So I said, hey, why don't you teach me how to stay out of prison? Teach me how to not make these poor choices because I'm scared to go back.
What did that poor man do
And
then?
so what he did is something really powerful. He gave me a list of resources. And with those resources, man, I was calling numbers. And one of those places said, hey, why don't you come in here? And I actually worked for, helping people that get DUIs and stuff. Like they let me, hand out pamphlets and stuff. And so here I was thinking I was big stuff. Like, yeah, I got a job, but it's not a job. I'm not getting money, but it made me feel work. I had a sense of work. And from there, I was like, I can do this. This is a cool thing.
Do you remember what it felt like when he said yes, or that person said yes that first time?
I wasn't used to him saying yes because I was used to everybody saying no. So when he said yes, I was like, oh my God, did he really just say yes?
There's an old line by Admiral Hyman Rickover. If you're going to sin against God, not the bureaucracy, at least God will forgive you. So the point is, our systems need to change. Our systems need to seek inside themselves, look for compassion. I was talking to little kids one day, John, and I said, hey, you don't have to blow someone else's candle out to make sure yours shines brighter. It was right up behind us in Hamilton. It was right up behind. The second grade girl goes, Mr. Mike, if you don't go around blowing out other people's candles and bullying people, you will be the one in the darkness. So profound, It's easier to light a candle than to spend your time blowing it out.
When you light more together, the candle grows bigger and better.
Ain't
That's what
that
we're all
true?
here for.
Yeah, that's exactly what we started to learn back when you were a 16-year-old kid. I started listening to Trevor when we did a school PBS series, Saving Our Schools from Hate and Violence, back in 1999 after Columbine, after all that violence. Folks, violence doesn't have a zip code. It can happen anywhere, anytime, to anybody. And it's really powerful and important to understand that. Rich and poor, young and old, educated, not educated well. Violence does not have a zip code. It can impact all of us. That's why it's important for all of us to find the treasures inside the young women and men that step out of the prison and need our help to come back into the integrate and help them in every way we can, possibly, to help them with their lives, financially, emotionally, spiritually, everything we can do. And I think sometimes that's why recovery groups are so important. Why do you think they're that important?
Well, without the support of people going through what you're going through, you're alone. I mean, that was what AA and NA did for me. I started in 1990 and I got through, I think it was 31 days, and something clicked and I was like, hey, I no longer need to be addicted. Now, I still got problems. I know I'm still an addict. But something clicked.
You seem so
yeah.
perfect.
I'm totally just don't judge my caffeine intake. But really, it's like if you don't share your struggles, you're all alone.
Right.
I mean, as a kid, I went through a lot. I was bullied a lot. I never shared my struggles, but I was open about being defined. But I was alone. And not until really, I think it was my senior year, between my junior and senior year in high school, did I say, fuck it. I'm just going to tell you how I feel. And something like changed dramatically in that year. And, and it goes back to why we're doing what we're doing now. It's like, without putting out your stories out to the world for people to hear, for people to latch onto, you're all alone, and it goes back to the game. The more we all connect, the more we put our brains together, our flames together, our hearts together, the more we can do together than we could ever do.
So here we are again. 21 years later, and you're doing, we're doing what with John, what I did with you. And you guys are impressive, and I'm honored to be in the room with you. Because, as you said, if you don't share your struggles, folks, nobody knows your pain. We should all try and create that vulnerability from the anxieties that we have around each other. Because then we get better, we get more well. And that means talking to mom and pop. That means talking to your teachers. That means talking to your teachers about your differences. That means talking to the people in the community, your bosses, your managers, your supervisors, the police officer who might pull you over. Say, hey, having a rough day. What I've been trying to teach neurodiverse young people is go, hey, officer, I process things differently. I am a neurodiverse person. I process things differently. Please explain to me without screaming and help me understand what you need from me in a way that I can help and not make me frightened. And if we can do that and teach that, I promise everybody out there, I promise you, because we can't make our cops mental health experts. We can't make our correctional officers mental health experts. That's a separate entity that we have to help encourage and give our complete compassion to, so that our folks have access to what they need to do. Why is compassion a word that you exude now, and you have truly, I mean, you've learned self-compassion. Have you learned self-compassion?
I flip compassion all the time. I flip compassion all the time for myself. Like I flip it for others. Like I try to put myself in some other's shoes today. I try to visualize what it's like to walk on their shoes when I hear what they say. I try to say, hey, okay, that person had a struggle and I don't want to go through it, but I know how to help them.
You meet them where they're at.
Yeah, all I have to do is ask them.
What did it help you to do today? This sanctuary where we can speak of these things. What did it do? This is a church, a sanctuary example to the gift of sharing your heart to the spirit of your soul. What did that do for you today? What did that do?
It made me feel safe. It made me know that there was
You shared like you were safe. You shared like you were safe.
you know, I have a lot of stuff happening to me as a kid. I feel like an adult. I haven't healed from completely. I haven't fully stepped out. I still see outside out. I still see therapy.
Adverse childhood experience. Adverse childhood experiences. The ACEs.
There's still trauma related to the experiences I had in prison. You know, there's trauma. And without the correct guidance, without the correct support, behind it, I don't think that I would be afloat right now. But I know one thing when I'm out there helping people. That's the one thing.
We pulled the fuse out of the stick. We pulled the fuse out.
Part of what we talk about our internship is teaching people to put their hands out in front of their face, so when they fall flat on their face, they at least have the experience of falling on their face before. So when that happens in life, it's not the first time. You won't hit hopefully half. I think that there's so many. Again, like I could just go back to we connected yesterday, and it feels like we're lifelong friends. Our missions are very similar, and I know we're looking forward to our whole team who's met you today and today is like, thrilled. We're like, all right,
What a morning we had, huh?
Man, there was, that was awesome.
A tutorial.
So we've got to wrap up today because if you believe it or not, it's probably been closer to 45 minutes. Who knows? Hey, look at that. My timing's pretty good. So we got to wrap up. We went pretty deep. We went pretty real, which is what this is all about. And I'm probably gonna hate me for this, but give me some upbeat. Give me some of your music, man. Do something for me because I know you've got something bumping back there that you want to share. And we gotta end it on a fun high note. Can I ask that of you? Is that too much?
I don't know you can do this.
I didn't know I was going to either. I was literally trying to wrap it up, and I thought, what sounds needed?
If I could grab my laptop, or something.
I'm sorry, but we got to have some fun.
Good.
And everyone out there watching, thank you very much for your patience in working through our technical issues. We were having so much fun today. Right now, I think there's like, what, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10 people at Desire to Inspire Studios Foundation right now. We just onboarded, we just onboarded 6 new interns from our School to Career program today, and everybody is learning. We're learning, and we're all here. We've got an in-studio audience, which is a biggest group. So, John, now that I put you on the spot, no pressure. You want to take it away, and you don't have to do the whole thing. Just give a little something.
Well, actually, I kind of don't want to sing right now. Can I give them a hint?
Yeah, that's fine. Yeah.
Good.
That's fine.
I did have an opportunity. I could play it but I don't know how good it'll sound in the audio right now, right?
Just to give it a whirl. Give it 10 seconds or something like that. You can't get out of it, man. We got to hear something. I'm sorry. It doesn't matter how crappy the audio is. We delayed technically for like 5 minutes because we couldn't get our visual. So.
All right. So this is. Things ain't the way that they used to be. I say things aren't the way that they used to be. 'Cause people change every day. Like the wind when it's blowing in your face. I can't complain. No one to blame. It takes so much inside of me to walk away. I wake up black up in this skin. I'm never trying to pretend I don't see color. I need my brother. One human.
So.
Cut it.
Tell me. What does that mean to you right there, that song? Singing that right now. Put it in the song, shouting out to the world.
Cut it. I get emotional about that. George Floyd was murdered. I flew to Minneapolis. I got an opportunity to shoot a music video at the spot where he had the knee put on. And oh man, shit, I'm sore up right now. You put me on the spot. I'm all sweating and stuff.
Yeah, you are. I got nothing for you.
I'm trying to find the right song for this whole little thing that I've been through. And the lyrics in that song for me, towards the end of the song, in the second verse, I talk about how in order to move on in life, we have to forgive, right? We have to learn to forgive. Not completely close the door on what happened in the past, right? And I don't know what that looks like, what forgiveness looks like, but I know what it feels like.
Oh, but you do.
And it's coming. It comes out in my music, and it comes out in the person that I am. That I feel that I'm becoming every day. And some of these words that I write, man, I'm just like, damn, out of nowhere, because I do have a gift to tune others in, and I do have a gift to help change the world if I use my voice in the right way. I feel so I have a gift, something in this and someone told me recently. Don't stop. Right. Don't ever stop giving up on this. That I used to be that. It all came from me wanting to give up on life, and my nephew recently shot himself in the head, and these are reasons why I continue to push. Shut him out. Shut himself out too.
This young man, what he just said, have a gift to tune others in. Tune into this, folks. Be the medicine for a better world. If you've lost into anger and resentment, forgive yourself, forgive others. Find a way home. And as Trevor and I have pointed out on We Are the Remedy, we are the medicine. We are, you'll wake up. We're here. Folks, take care of each other out there. Love each other. And help others. That's it. Be the medicine. Thank you.
John Wallace, Surviving the Odds Project, We Are the Remedy, Desire to Inspire Studios Foundation. We're all people helping people, man. Thank you so much for being here. Remember, everyone, to go out, share a compliment, share a smile with someone, make someone's day, and obviously don't forget to subscribe to whatever channel you're watching this on or the others that we have, because we got to get better about asking that. And you'll be seeing a lot more of John, because this is only the beginning. This is only day one from this relationship. I can't tell you how excited I am. So, yeah, your family. All right, everyone, have a great day, and thank you very much. And tune in next week for Thursday's Donuts for Breakfast, and We Are the Remedy. And
all good stuff.
thank you, John. All good stuff. Thank you.